following the sequence of reactions to the covers by the girls from the group Babymonster during their 2025 international tour, now at their first performance in Seoul. Today we will react to Chiquita performing the piece Traitor. This piece, by Olivia Rodrigo, tells the story of someone who was disappointed and is very sad about a betrayal they experienced. So they were abandoned in love. There is also a cover of this piece, which is on Babymonster's channel. I was even going to react to it on the channel, but since she performed it live here, I prefer to react to it here. My preference is precisely to analyze singers in a stage environment, preferably without any kind of playback behind them, nor any kind of auto-tune. In other words, no sound alteration. The microphone sound should be predominant, so we can analyze their real voice with the true vocal technique they possess. I want to see real technique. And also, my preference, actually, is that the person is singing a cappella, or with just a single guitar, a piano, with no playback at all, so we can analyze it properly. So, this was a video that you guys recommended to me, here in the comments of other videos. This video is a compilation, and the person filming is quite close to the stage, so we can hear more clearly within the limitations of what a cell phone microphone allows, but we can still make some analysis. So let's see what Chiquita brings to us.
They talk to our mates, even words like why is so I keep you.
Beautiful. It's truly something spectacular. It's a voice that is really enchanting me. All 7, except for the rappers, as I always say. But the 5 singers are really impressing me, because they have very different vocal qualities that they were born with. They have distinct timbres, but the vocal training they are receiving is of a very high level. This is making them truly bring out all their qualities. And here, it is very perceptible who Chiquita is. I think she is the most consistent among all the girls. I listened to the entire show from the second day, and I noticed that every time she sings, even if she is moving around, doing the choreography, or singing a melody that is more complex, requiring more technical skill from her, she always sings in tune. She hits the notes precisely. Her breath support is always absolutely solid. Regarding that, actually, the diaphragmatic support of all the girls, I can say, is impeccable. You can really tell that they are always sustaining, and usually very mindful of it. Proof of that is that they often place their hand on their waist, as I mentioned in the last video about Farida and in their debut performance. But here, in this beginning, she showcases all those characteristics I mentioned in the analysis video I did about her, which is the signature of what I call the YG vocal school. Their voices are placed in this mid-range, in the nasopharyngeal area, which I casually refer to as a cheek voice. And it feels somewhat compressed in this region, even though it's in the mid-range, between the mouth and the eyes. It sits in the nasal area but isn't nasal. It's warm and has that distinctive tone, similar to Billie Eilish and Lady Gaga. This piece is by Olivia Rodrigo. But Olivia has a different technique. Her voice isn't like this. And here, what Chiquita is doing right from the start is spectacular. In terms of adding volume variations in this mid-range, leaning towards the lower register, which is a bit tricky. Also, the vibratos she's incorporating are really beautiful.
They talk to one, maybe two, even worse, like quiet, so I keep you. Ain't that funny? How you rather hide the second that we call the close. Ain't that funny?
She has the support of backing vocals here, which I believe were recorded with her voice in the studio. So you can hear the similarity, her tone gets doubled. It even feels a bit strange and unsettling, at least to me. But it's meant to emphasize the lyrics. And here she is, at a moment that conveys a melodic sense of reflection, sadness, a certain sweetness, nostalgia. It's a true lament. She's even sitting down. And that matches the whole atmosphere, her voice and the technique she's applying now. Perfectly align with it. Low volume. Actually a medium volume. She has excellent volume control, really. She knows exactly when to increase or decrease it. She's delivering a truly beautiful interpretation.
I said you were friends, now aren't you yourself to look like? You became, and I know that you never feel sad. But the way I heard you, how you talked to her when we were together, and you were your worst. Didn't matter, it took you 2 weeks to go off and date her, 'cause you didn't cheat, you're still a traitor.
Her quality is truly that of a singer above average. If you made a scale from 0 to 100, she would always be at the top end. She's a singer with outstanding technical quality and control over all the register transitions she can execute. She performs them extremely well. She masters various techniques, different resonances, and she places them wherever she wants. It has that fit like Farida's, which I really like. She has this same placement, especially on the syllables where she can open up a lot, place it in the palate, and project into the head voice register. But actually, it's not exactly a full head voice placement, where she adds resonance reinforcement to the voice, and usually keeps it rich here, projecting it forward. But this is a mid to low range, and she does it just like Farida has been doing. And her quality here is really quite high. It's a voice, I would even say. Has a velvety tone, really reminiscent of Farida's. Chiquita is really winning me over as a singer.
It took you 2 weeks to go off and date her, 'cause you didn't cheat, you're still a traitor. God, I wish you had thought this through before I went and fell in love with you. I'm just living in the that we made. Don't you dare forget about the way you betrayed me.
So here, she is expressing complaint, a moment of revolt. She even stomps her foot, and her voice trembles. She could have done it in another way, but it was so spontaneous, so hers, that it's perfect, even though there was this tremble in her voice. But it was a genuine expression from her. Of course, she rehearses this beforehand, but you can tell it's her movement. She wanted to interpret it this way, and that's wonderful. And I saw this also in the performance on the first day, and this one is from the second day. So, she is someone who understood the context of the song's lyrics. And, vocally, she is delivering. But also as a performer. The K-pop industry really masters this. Compared to other pop music industries worldwide, in K-pop, you really get stage performances that are far above average. So here, she shows that she understood what the song is and knows how to deliver what it demands, both with her vocal technique and with her physical expressions, her stage presence. That is very important. She deserves praise. So let me check if the song has ended. Okay, there's still a part left, but this climax of the song, where she moved from the back, came to the front, performed, and expressed this anger, this complaint, this intensity in that moment. She came in strong. So she placed vocal projection in her mixed voice. Here, it's hard to tell if she's belting, if she added more brightness or not by opening laterally. But I believe she did, because she's already in the mid to high range, which is more comfortable for her, but her voice grew, she rounded it out and projected. It's truly a projected voice, a full sound. You would hear her at a high volume even without a microphone. In fact, at certain moments, she could have moved the mic away. Though it's not as noticeable here, at least in this recording. In another recording I made, I noticed it, but she managed to add a bit more yawning space to her voice. She actually opens up her entire internal respiratory cavity in this region of the mouth, pharynx, larynx, similar to what we do when we yawn. So she does this. It's the yawning technique, but not as exaggerated as I'm doing here. In classical music, we exaggerate this. Yawn quite a bit. But here, she does a more open, not as yawning. But this is the internal setup she uses, and where she gains projection and volume. And she sang throughout this climax, melodically where she was, in this way, and it's really beautiful, a very consistent voice. Her diaphragmatic support is truly impeccable. Here, I see no flaws at all, except for when she stomped her foot and her voice trembled. Other than that, she is flawless. At this ending, where she finished with Traitor, the word traitor, I suspect she only went with the backing vocals. Why? Because it's a long phrase that she sang. And I think her breath ran out before the end, so I think she dropped out and let the playback continue. I don't know if she completely muted her voice, but it's quite noticeable here, within the limitations of what this camera allows us to hear. But she dropped out, she muted her voice here. At this point, she was already silent. It was just the playback, for sure. and a bit of that big note she sang. That single syllable up high. I think she had already dropped out because the resonance changed. The shift is very noticeable, but it's completely understandable that she muted her voice, as it's a very long note. Maybe she lost control of her breathing a little. It happens. Everything is absolutely fine.
God, I wish you without this room. Before I fell in love with you.
That was very beautiful, truly beautiful. That was not falsetto.
God, I wish you without this room. Before I fell in love with you.
It's her head voice in the higher range. This is not falsetto. It had a lot of volume. It was projected. The attack was decent, but you can notice the placement at the start. So, I really liked what she did here. She was truly bold. And then she transitioned to her mixed voice, or chest voice, in the lower range, where she speaks again. This part was very interesting, doing it this way, without instruments, without anything. She went for it and placed it in this higher head voice range. Very beautiful. I really liked what she did here. And here the song ended. I think that out of all the singers, she has proven to be the most consistent, the most steady. From everything I've heard from her, I can say that she is a singer you will always hear with high quality. I am always hearing her deliver high quality performances. Of course, there are always minor flaws, but we can say that 80% of everything we hear from her, she performs with quality. I really liked it. Congratulations to Chiquita. She is truly a promising singer. All 7 are very promising. I'm really enjoying this Babymonster project. I've said many times that I'm not a fan, but here, in live performances, with the band, everything that is being done to help them deliver this vocal quality, this high-level vocal training they're receiving, is really producing incredible results. The progress is massive. There is so much technical quality. Impressive. Congratulations to Chiquita and to the entire group of girls. That's it. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and a comment below. Subscribe to the channel to watch more videos like this one. Soon, I'll also react to all the other girls. And consider down below, in the first pinned comment or the super thanks button, making a contribution to support the channel. And if my Patreon is active, I'm not sure when you'll watch this. The link will be down below as well. Alright, see you later.